This is the design guide for the Pencil Expander new template. The ad ID here is 55182. So we're going to start out by jumping over into the ad builder for this particular ad. So from a top level, this ad can be designed to be any size and shape within 1,000 pixel by 1,000 pixel width and height. So we'll start out here. Say the first thing you're going to do is configure exactly how big this ad is going to be. So we'll start out by going to settings, and you're going to see here, if you scroll down in settings about 3/4 of the way down, you're going to see 4 different options here talking about the collapsed width, the collapsed height, the expanded width, and the expanded height. Now again, depending on your website layout and configuration, that's going to determine exactly how wide you want this to be in the first place. So if we preview this, currently it's 893 pixels wide. So we'll do a quick preview, and this is 893. And when it's collapsed, the collapsed height is 30 pixels here, and the expanded height is 350. So if we go ahead and expand, you'll see that it's 350 tall. So you can instantly change these. Let's say we wanted it to be 400 pixels wide, and in almost every case you're going to want the collapsed width and the expanded width to match up. That way it doesn't look jumpy when you expand or collapse it. So now you can see the same ad, same height for the expansion, but it's only 400 pixels wide now. So that's something you can configure simply and easily right here. And then we're going to jump back. Now that will dictate when you're uploading your images or potentially animations to this file, to this template. This will again show you it can be between 240 pixels is the minimum width we recommend for this, but typically you're going to want it wider to fit almost the entire screen length here. And between 30, we recommend no shorter than 30 pixels in terms of height for the collapsed thin area. And then again, same thing for the expanded, but it's going to be much taller. So whatever numbers you've entered into the settings, that's the size and shape of the images you're going to want to upload, and that's configurable by you down here. So now going back, once you've set that, these are simply your button titles, see more, close this. So if we change this to open and we click on preview, you see it says open and close now. So pretty straightforward there. Again, media, you can upload any image, or you could set this to accommodate an SWF file in either the closed or open state. If you have a Flash designer on staff that wants to build their own custom animation, that can be accommodated here. The way you get that to actually show up is you would upload it, but then go back down here to settings, scroll down to the bottom, and it asks you for the collapse state. Do you want an image or SWF? You would just type in SWF instead of image here. Same thing with the expanded, and that'll let us know which one to reference here inside the media area. For colors, you have your button color options here. So if you want to change this to something else, you can always enter a hex value or just grab a color here. So that's the outer bevel edge. So now it's green on the outside instead. And then the face color, label color, background color, etc. Click-through URLs, just one for this ad. That will be whether they click on the expanded or collapsed state, same click-through. And then we'll go over the rest of the settings here. In most of these Exotic or Premiere ads, you're going to see collapse speed. How fast does it take to close when you click on that close button? You could set that to something larger, like 4 seconds, and we'll do a quick preview to show you what that looks like. So now we open it quick, but when I click close this, it's now going to take a little, up to 4 seconds to close it. So it depends on what you want the user experience to be like. Same thing, expand speed, how fast do you want it to expand. This now gets you into, do you want it to automatically open when someone comes here? So if I set this to no and click preview, anytime this ad appears on your page, it's always going to be in the collapse state, and the only way to open it is to actually click on the button itself. When we set it to yes, which is more likely the scenario you're going to want to use, that means that the ad automatically opens when I first come to the page and it loads. See how it opened without me clicking on here, and the user has to go in and then close this. This is pretty standard for how you're going to want to set up this ad. Now, to ensure a positive user experience across the board, you don't necessarily want it to expand every single time someone comes to that page. So if I browse to your home page, it expands, I have to close it. I then go to the sports page, come back, it expands again, I have to close it. That can be kind of annoying. So what a lot of people like to do is it automatically is going to drop a cookie onto the user when they first come, and you can type in the number of hours you want that cookie to last, meaning every time they come back during this time period, the ad will not auto expand a second time, so that if you put in 24 hours, they come back 5-10 times over the next 24 hours, it starts out closed, they would have to auto expand, and then 24 hours later that cookie expires. If they came to the home page again, it would automatically expand once and then start a new 24-hour cycle. Again, if it is auto expanding, do you want it to happen right away, or would you like it to happen, let's say, 5 seconds after the page and content has loaded? So in this instance, we'll count about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then the ad is going to open up. So that's something you can configure here. Do you want it to auto collapse after it auto expands? So meaning the ad auto expanded, I'd like it to auto collapse after 5 seconds. Typically we'd say no. It's probably better for your advertisers if the viewer has to look at it, close it, gives a better brand message and makes them see it and see the information. Do you want it to auto collapse when your mouse goes off of it as opposed to clicking the button? Do you want it to auto expand when someone just rolls over the ad? Yes or no, as opposed to clicking on the buttons themselves. And then we get into the same 4 pieces we went over: height and width of the collapsed state, height and width of the expanded state. Then do you want to use images or SWF files, which we went over. And finally, do you want to move the open and close button to the bottom? If we say yes, this is just a design consideration here, so that when you open it, this is at the bottom now as opposed to staying up here. So that's it for the design overview. If you have any questions, as always, you can call our design team at 866-467-2289.